Hello everyone, welcome to your session. In this session we are going to learn different usage of simple present tense. Let's begin. Usage number 1, it says we use simple present tense for general truths. Usage number 2, it says we use simple present tense for facts or some information which is always true or for the universal truths. Usage number 3, it says we also use simple present tense for information which is true in present or is less permanent or temporarily true. Let's look at the example to understand it better. So the first one, it says it snows in winter. Yes, it snows in winter, but not everywhere. So that's why it is a general truth. It rains a lot in monsoon. Of course, it rains a lot in monsoon, but not everywhere in the world. Delhi is the most polluted city in India. It could be true, but we don't have evidence. So that's why we consider these sentences as general truths. And for general truth, we use simple present tense. Let's look at the usage number 2, the example. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. So it is a fact, scientifically proved fact. Example 2, it says sun rises in the east. Again, it is always true, a universal truth. Earth rotates around the sun. That is also true, and it is always true, and yes, it is a universal truth. So for these sentences also we use simple present tense. Let's look at the examples of usage number 3. It says I travel in winter. So yes, I travel in winter, then I come back to my city. So that's why the situation is less permanent, or it is a temporary situation. She studies in school. Yes, she studies in school at present, but after a couple of years she will be graduated and then she will go to college. So it is also a less permanent situation. Then third one, he goes to dance class. Yes, at present he is going. After a couple of months, he will complete his course. So for all these situations, for all these 3 types of truths, general truths, or always true, or temporary true, we use simple present tense. Now let's look at another usage of simple present tense. That is, we also use simple present tense for regular or irregular habits. For example, I play football every morning. So yes, I play football. Now it is every morning. So that is a regular action or regular habit. He goes to temple on Tuesday. Now he goes to temple but only on Tuesday. So this habit or action is not regular. So we can consider it as an irregular action or irregular habit. She always forgets her purse. Now here the word always, it tells that this is her habit. So she always forgets her purse. So this is a regular action or habit. So for these sentences also we use simple present tense. Now let's look at another example, another usage of simple present tense. That is, we use it for timetable or a fixed plan or event in the near future. For example, the school begins at 8 a.m. and ends at 2 p.m. So this is a schedule of a school. So that is fixed. So for this purpose we use simple present tense. Then we have metro leaves every 3 minutes. Now this is a timetable of metro, right? So for this sentences also, for this type of sentences we use simple present tense. The party starts at 9 p.m. Now this party is scheduled in near future. Let's say the party is tomorrow. So for this purpose also we use simple present tense. Now the next usage of simple present tense, it says we use simple present tense to talk about future, but there is a condition. So we use it to talk about future when we have time words or after the time words. For example, the time words are when, after, before, unless, until, and as soon as. These are also called subordinate clauses of time that we will study in a separate video or separate session. So now let's look at the example. I will talk to Silky when I meet her. Now if you say I will talk to Silky when I will meet her, that would be an incorrect sentence. So we use, when we have time words, here time word is when. So when we have time words, we use simple present tense. Now let's look at another example. You must finish your work before you go home. Again, here we have the time word before. So we have used simple present tense. The next usage is, I'm going to make dinner after I watch the news. Again, here the time word is after. So we use simple present tense. Now let's look at another usage of simple present tense. We use simple present tense for sports commentary as well. So let's look at the example. It could be commentary of any sports. So I like cricket, that's why I have put it here, an example of cricket commentary. So the commentary is, Sachin whips the ball straight to the mid-wicket fielder and tries to take a cheeky single, but a direct hit, and that's what Australia wanted. Sachin is run out. Now you see here the words highlighted in red. It says, like it tells, we use simple present tense for commentary. Next usage is, we use simple present tense for telling story as well. So it could be a story, it could be a film, or it could be a play. So let's look at the example. In the story, A Letter to God, Lencho writes a letter to God and asks for 100 pesos, but he receives only 70 pesos. So he writes another letter to God. Now do you remember this story? Yes, it is in class 10 NCERT book, English book. So for storytelling also we use simple present tense. Next usage is, we use simple present tense with adverbs of frequency. Now what is adverbs of frequency? That we will study in a separate session. For now, just look at this table and try to remember these words here mentioned in the table. So the adverbs of frequency we have here: always, usually, generally, often, sometimes, occasionally, seldom, rarely, never. Now let's look at the example here for better understanding. We always walk to school. The adverb of frequency is always. So we have used simple present tense. I generally study at the library. Again, the adverb of frequency is generally. So we have used simple present tense. He hardly skips college. So here adverb of frequency is hardly. So now you can look at the examples. You can understand now, for this purpose also, when we have adverbs of frequency in a sentence or a statement that we are going to use, we use simple present tense. Now let's look at another usage of simple present tense that we use. So usage number 10, it says we use simple present tense in conditional sentences. Now what are conditional sentences and what are its types? We will study in a separate video. For now, let's understand with the example. If I sleep too late, I will miss my morning class. So now here, if you look at the sentence, there are two parts. So one is dependent on another. So I will miss my morning class if I sleep too late. So that's why we call these sentences conditional sentence. This type of sentences are called conditional sentences. So let's look at another example. My boss gets angry if I am late for work. Do you go to doctor if you are sick? So for such sentences, for all conditional sentences, not all, we have different categories. So for first and zero conditional sentences, we use simple present tense. Now let's look at another usage of simple present tense. We also use simple present tense in exclamatory sentences, especially the sentences which start with here and there. For example, here comes the bus. Here are 3 good reasons to study online. There she goes. Now if you look at the sentences, we have used simple present tense. Now the next usage, or the last I can say, the usage number 12, it says we use simple present tense with stative verbs or non-continuous verb to talk about feeling, emotion, thought, opinion, relationship, possession, and our 5 senses like hear, feel, touch. We use simple present tense. Let's understand what stative or non-continuous verbs are. So for example, if I say, like when someone asks you what are verbs, so you say the action word, right? So for example, if I say I run or I am running, so now you can see the action, what is happening, like I am running. But with stative verb, you cannot see the action, what actually is happening. We can only feel it. It has emotion. It has possession. It is related to the senses that we have, the 5 senses. So let's look at the example for better understanding. We love our parents. Now yes, the word love is a verb. It is a stative verb. Now you cannot see the action, how love is happening. But yes, we can feel it. It has emotion. Next example, he feels happy. Now he feels happy. So now can you see the action, what is happening? No, we cannot. So that's why these are stative verbs. And with stative verbs, we use simple present tense. Another example, you look fantastic. They belong to Fiji. So this is how we can use simple present tense in 12 different contexts that we have just studied. And so let's look at the table. I have made a table of stative verbs, common stative verbs. So you can have a look, you can read it, make a note of it, and try to remember as many verbs, stative verbs, as much you can. And it will help you to frame grammatically correct sentences. So I think that's all we have in this session. In the next session, we will study how to frame sentences in simple present tense. So we'll discuss all 4 types of sentences: affirmative, negative, interrogative, and interrogative. So in detail, we'll study the structure of these sentences, how we can frame correctly in simple present tense. Also, in the next session, we will discuss some questions that are frequently asked in competitive exams from simple present tense. So that's all in this session. Now you can visit our website for free online practice tests. See you in the next video of tenses. Thank you for watching.